Hi, and welcome to In the Business Coach's Chair. Throughout this podcast, I'll be interviewing business owners, business leaders, and anybody involved in business at all, and taking them through a short business coaching session. We'll uncover what their deepest fears are, what their greatest desires are, and work out how to sort those out for them. So sit back in your own comfortable chair, relax, and learn about what's happening in the minds of business owners everywhere. Hello, everybody, and welcome to In the Business Coach's Chair. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to have Tracy Clark with me, who is herself a business coach and former CEO of CWC, right?
CWC Group.
Yeah. It was CWC, right? Just double checking. Great. Hi, Tracy. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. How are you, Rebecca?
Yeah, I'm really good. Thank you. Really good. So in the nature of In the Business Coach's Chair, what I want to do is explore business coaching and really begin to unpack it, because we're out there doing our thing. And it's really hard for potential clients to understand what they get and what the experience is like. And I want to make sure people understand what's involved, and all business coaches are different. So my first question to you, Tracy, is what kind of business coaching do you do?
Okay, so as you said, I come from a business background. My brother and I had our own company that we launched and we scaled. And as we grew it, we focused very much on the profit, the product and the profit. And we thought we focused on the people too. But then as we drew to an exit a few years before we did, we hired a consultant. And he opened my eyes to the fact that we maybe weren't leaning into the people side as much. Okay. And it made me really realize how much latent potential was around that we weren't tapping into. So to answer your question, what I now do is I can do the product and the profit side easily, but what I focus on is very much helping the business owner step into their leadership. Because what I often find is they're experts in their area, in tech or deep tech are the areas I work in, but the leadership is a little bit uncomfortable. It's an area they don't really know. They feel like they should know it, but they don't. So I work with them on very much how they are showing up, how they can step into leadership, and then how they can unlock the latent potential in their team. So they build a high performance team.
Yeah.
Because Rebecca, what I find is so often, and I'm sure you find the same, is I get business owners and they come to me and they say, Tracy, I've got a team, lots of people around me, but I'm doing everything. I'm just in the trenches. I'm like, yeah, I get it. So it's really about how can I get the leader to step up, to step into their high value, where they're going to move the dial on their business by getting their leadership team, especially, to step up. So that's what I do a lot of work around.
I think that's fascinating that as a CEO yourself, your eyes were opened to the untapped potential. I think that was the phrase you used in your business, because you hadn't focused on people. How many businesses out there could be twice as successful, three times as successful if they just looked at the people side of things? And yet, Tracy, it's still called soft.
It is indeed. And Rebecca, just a nuance that we thought we were focusing on the people. But what I loved about this gentleman that came in, he was amazing. He opened my eyes to the fact there was stuff I didn't know. So you always have you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what I'd invite your listeners to think about. They might be thinking about, yes, I do the people. I thought I did. But actually, I didn't know what I didn't know. And that is where the magic comes, by really stepping into curiosity and open-mindedness and just experimenting and going, let me just listen and let me try. And that's what I encourage the founders that work with me to do. Go, let's just explore and let's see.
Now, did you have to take a bit of a brave pill to do that at the time, Tracy? Did it take much persuasion?
Do you know, I was actually quite open to it. So
Okay.
there was a board with us. Some were
Mm,
more resistant, but I'm naturally quite curious.
okay.
And I did think there is stuff I don't know. And
Mm,
that's how he presented it to us, saying, you don't know what you don't know.
yeah.
And that
Yeah.
struck a chord. And my feeling is, listen, dip your toe in, explore. If it's not for you, you can go, and that's
Yeah.
fine. So
Yeah.
it was more dipping our toes in, and I absolutely loved it.
Oh, I think that's amazing. What a great guy. And I often think people come into coaching because they've had such a good experience of a coach themselves.
Absolutely. And actually, that's exactly what happened. He sort of opened my eyes and he sent me on this. Well, he sent me, I found I was led on this journey
Mm,
to become a coach and to really think about what else is under there that I don't know. That
mm.
if I can uncover, I can then bring to business owners and I can bring that and complement with my commercial experience.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think business coaches are not conveying out there? Because there's still resistance. There are some bad players that give us a bad name because it is an unregulated industry, definitely. But what can the really good coaches do you think, to convey their message about what the client's going to experience once you engage with them?
I think there are a couple of things. I think it's firstly, which is maybe not answering your question, it's acknowledging that there will be hesitations, that
Okay.
there will be a little bit of, oh, I'm really not sure. There's a fear, a bit of fear of
Mm,
vulnerability and, oh, what's this person going to do and what are they going to
yeah.
discover? So I think fear can hold
Mm,
people back. So I think acknowledging and empathizing with them and going, I get it. I
mm,
understand that this is new. And then explaining to them that this is very much a safe space where it's just between you and me and we
mm.
explore. And I, what I do is I've got this method or this approach that I've sort of fallen into, Rebecca, a little,
Okay.
which was I found that sometimes people can come on, they're very serious, they're very
Yeah.
stressed. I get it. They're running, big business, they're running businesses, they're juggling decisions, responsibilities, growth. And while that stress is good on the one hand, it can slow them down.
Mm,
So I found that there are two words that I introduce that just shift this energy and for them and for me. And when I introduce these two words, their smile comes across their face, their shoulders drop, and they just take a deep breath. And this might sound odd, but these two words are let's play.
okay. You see, I'm smiling already.
Yes. So the let's play, when I think of play, I don't think of it as sort of frivolous activities.
Mm,
I'm going to encourage coaches to see it as it's a powerful state of mind with
mm,
three main threads: intense curiosity, radical open-mindedness, and proactive experimentation.
mm.
So when you go into that, what I find is it not only does it bring some laughter, which is always great,
Yeah.
but it provides a really safe container that they feel that stress goes, they feel they can relax. And you're just saying, play in a way can be seen as purposeless. So that makes them go, oh, it's okay. I'm safe. Well, what if? What if
Yeah.
we experimented this? And you're not doing it as a this has to happen. You're playing with possibility. And then so that's one part. And then for the coaches, it's then getting them to explain to the clients, to their potential clients, the breakthroughs that they've had. So, for example, this Let's Play, that sounds a bit unconventional, has allowed me to get business owners to shift from really focusing on a local market to going global,
Mm,
to shifting from just having one company to expanding to opening a sister company, to challenging assumptions to such a degree that this one serial entrepreneur, he started challenging assumptions that he was being told, and it got him to penetrate a market in 4 months that other people had told him he wouldn't enter into in 7 years.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love that the one where people, oh no, you can't go there because you're like,
Yes.
really? Are you sure? Well, let's just give it a try anyway.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's where, Rebecca, when you put the let's play,
Yeah.
it takes almost that defense level of defense
Yeah.
down. Go, listen, I don't know, you might be right, but let's
Yeah.
play for a moment and see. and
Yeah.
and see what comes up. And so for me, it's about relaxing them, finding that creating that environment where they're relaxed.
Yeah, there's a lot of creativity in great coaching, without a shadow of a doubt. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and there was a business psychologist on it, and he was saying that people, and we see this as coaches anyway,
Mm.
people get entrenched in a certain way of doing something, a certain way of problem solving, a certain way of doing whatever. And then when they come across something novel, and we are going to come across novel things all the time now with the rate and pace of change, they are applying the old way of handling it to the novel, and it just isn't working. So that let's play, you've got to now, I think, in the modern world. Otherwise, you're not gonna survive.
I couldn't agree more. I think you've hit it on the head there. There is the pace of change. You've got
Yeah,
different generations also coming into the workforce. And so you need to adapt, and you
yeah.
need to be that radical open-mindedness in the middle, my three threads, that I think is crucial.
Yeah, it really is. And if it doesn't work, I think again, business leaders think, oh, I've failed. No, you've just found a way that doesn't work.
Mm,
We'll tweak it because there'll be elements in there that have worked,
yeah.
and we'll just keep tweaking.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then, Rebecca, just coming back to another point that you asked earlier about, business coaches talking to clients. One of the things I do very much is I explain to them sort of some of my foundational models and what's underneath the approach I have. So
Hmm.
why do I take the approach that I do? And I'll often share, I have a model which is a tree, actually, and it's really talking about how we create results. And I show it to them and I say, listen, most people, the conventional approach is to focus on the strategies and the actions,
Hmm.
which in the metaphor of the tree is the trunk
Hmm.
that holds up the canopy of results. But what I found is I've discovered in my journey of exploration that's not enough. That there's more in the roots that's not visible, that
Yeah.
they might not be aware of and might not be seeing. And I show them that in the roots there are different layers, values, mindset, which at one point I thought was the holy grail, and it's important, but
It's important.
to me, there's a depth, another level. Then I put in a big layer of self-awareness,
Mm.
saying, as leaders, you might be unaware of the impact you're having.
Mm.
And that's what we want to shine a spotlight on. Just gently and lovingly put the mirror up so that you can see what shifts you can make to create a different impact with your team.
Mm.
And then at the bottom of the roots, I talk about self-concept and state, and how it's that what you believe about yourself, that is what directly impacts your thinking, your feelings, your actions, and your results. So when I take them there and show them that, they go, oh my goodness, I need the roots. That's
Yeah.
what I need. So it's
Yeah.
bringing it to life so that it makes sense to them too.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think leaders are aware of how much work they need to do on themselves in order to be high performing leaders. There's a great deal of work, like you say, the self-awareness, the how am I showing up? What do I believe to be true about myself? What do I believe to be true about the people I'm working with? And that for some people is quite challenging if they've not done that before. It's a psychological journey as much as a business journey. I think that's my favorite model is a tree. We use it differently in our coaching, but my
Yeah.
favorite model is also a tree as well.
Okay.
Um, and the language you're using, Tracy, are you NLP trained? Because a lot of the language you're using is very
I did
ground.
some NLP, but I
Did
don't
you?
myself as NLP.
Right, right, okay. No, that sense of curiosity and the depth and very NLP driven, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you had a magic wand for your own business, because you're really successful, the way
Mm.
you portrayed is great on your website and you've got some great clients, what would you fix in your business today?
So the level I work at is very much it's me.
Hmm.
You just talked about it's working on the inner game, and I think of
Mm,
leadership as leadership of others and
hmm.
leadership of self. So I always turn the mirror inwards and go, okay, I need to grow to be able to
Mm,
create the shift that I want in my business. It comes down to me.
hmm.
So I gain clarity on what it is I want. And then I go back to my tree and think, okay, that new vision, that new result is the top of the tree. Now, my state and identity at the bottom needs to be in alignment
Hmm.
with that. So
Yeah.
I'm always coming back to my my state, who I'm being, how I'm showing up. And I have different facets of myself. So the coach, the speaker, the author. I'm starting to write a book. And
Oh, great.
the author part was quite a challenge for me because I didn't think of myself as a writer or an author, and I had all of this resistance. But actually, the more I've played with introducing myself to that state of being of a highly successful author, best-selling author, and started to imagine myself, this is something I've been doing recently, walking past Waterstones with my two lovely dogs and seeing my book in the window and just feeling that joy of knowing that it's happening. So it's
Mm.
working at the level of awareness and consciousness and grounding my states. That is what I find to be the most powerful, the
It,
most
it
powerful thing.
it really is. I've got to ask because I have two dogs as well. What kind of dogs do you have, Tracy?
I have two cockadoos, a little
Ah,
black one and a little sandy coloured one. And you'll see them in my photos. And Rebecca, and I think this is part of making us ourselves human.
yeah,
So to the business owners, I'll have them, they'll sometimes pop onto the screen and I'll go, oh, what's that? And that I think is that's so important. It's I'm a human to you a human, and we're
yeah,
having a conversation.
that's yeah, absolutely. And I think the dogs keep you grounded. That
100%.
they keep you grounded. They don't care what you're doing every day in your
Yeah,
business. They just want cuddles, walks, and food, basically. That's it. They're very simple creatures.
exactly.
Um, yeah, and they also bring joy, just
Ah,
pure, unadulterated joy. And it's lovely. No matter what day you're having, you look at your dogs and they go, yeah, everything's all right, really.
everything's good. And the other thing in my fascination with play, I've actually watched them a lot
Mm,
and just realized that their instinctive nature is playful.
yeah.
So now that I've got two, I'll notice they'll play with each other. One's a little bit more dominant, they'll run around. And so I'm watching them just being curious and thinking, what can I learn from them?
Hmm.
And part of it is just
Yeah.
relaxing, going with the flow and being in the moment.
Yeah.
That's what they do
Yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah, they're not worrying about tomorrow, are they?
No worry about anything.
No, they're really not. I love that. But play is so important. That's as humans, that's how we learn.
It is.
It,
Exactly.
it's actually the only way we really, really learn is to play. As you get older, you get complex concepts and things like that. But actually, the only way to really learn it is to play with it.
100%. And I
Yeah.
think sadly, Rebecca, when if we look back when we were young, we did play.
Yeah.
Even when we were little, you went into your imagination, I'm an astronaut, I'm going to Mars, and anything was possible. And then we go to school and rules are
Mm,
put in and like no logic, stop daydreaming. And it's like you put on this straitjacket of fear
mm, mm.
and restriction. And what I say to business owners, want to take this straitjacket off.
Yeah.
And that's when you take that off and you go, let's go back to our childlike state
Yeah.
and let's play with possibility. And you know what? Like a child, if we fall over, we'll learn, we'll get up and we'll
Yeah.
make a shift.
Yeah. So this podcast I was listening to yesterday was absolutely fascinating. They were talking about AI and they had a business consultant on who specializes in brainstorming and creativity in business. And he did an experiment. So he got a group of people in business and he got, oh, sorry, I've thought I'd turn my email off. He got them to play with AI to start creating ideas. And he discovered quite quickly that it just stunted ideas. It stopped them in their tracks. He said what he saw around the room was a group of people with slack jaws staring at a screen, and the stuff they came up with was mediocre at best. And he said it made me realize that we've got to keep working our imaginations and creativity, otherwise, we're going to lose it. Now, what have you come across in the workplace so far that kind of resonates with that?
Yeah. So I can just take that example of how I use it. So
Hmm.
I agree, we need to keep those neurons and that
Yeah,
imagination going.
yeah,
I believe there is a place for AI and
there
it
is.
can't. However, the nuance I would make was start with your own unique ideas. For
Mm,
me, it's take pen to paper, start writing, exploring. I'm a big, especially for my book, I have this big sketch pad and I'm doing lots of different mind maps. Allow that to flow and then another thing I do, talking of our dogs, I'll then go out on a walk, not
yeah.
thinking about anything consciously, and I'll come back with these ideas. I don't know where they've come from, but they've just landed. And then from there, from that initial brainstorm, allowing intuition to come in, that's when I then often do go to AI and
Mm.
I'll get it to challenge. So I can say, this is what I'm thinking. What else? Give me the pros and cons for it.
Ah,
And then I'll go into critiquing it. So I'll use it as an enhancer
okay.
and let's call it a next level brainstormer
Yeah,
because I've already done some of it. And I
yeah.
find that incredible.
Your creative process is very similar to mine. Just like colored pens, big bits of paper, go for a walk, come back and go, oh yeah, I've got it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But
What's your
Rebecca,
sorry?
I think, sorry to interrupt you, I think that's one thing that business owners don't do enough.
I know they don't. They're stuck in a desk. They really need to go out and get the big bits of paper or just like you say, play with stuff. And then the ideas definitely come. What's your book about, Tracy? I'm dying to know.
So, so my book is going to be called, well, the working title is Let's Play, the two words that will forever change the way you lead.
Amazing. I love that. That's
So
fantastic.
yeah, I just thought it really takes, and it's it's looking at playfulness from a self-leadership. So how
Mm,
you can incorporate it in your life, because as you said, the self-awareness can feel a bit scary. Oh God.
mm,
Whereas when you add a bit of humor and a bit of experimentation to it, it makes it easier.
yeah, it does.
Um, and then also looking at sort of playful approaches to team and to
Yeah.
leadership, and that's going to be a big element.
Oh, I love that. I think that's great. I do a workshop called Strategic Thinking Made Easy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and groups of leaders find strategic thinking difficult. They get this roadblock.
Mm.
Lots of them do. So I get them to play. I get them to use felt tip colored pens and I get them drawing really abstract stuff to let their imaginations run wild. And then we bring it to a mind map, and then we bring it to, the strategic plan. And it's so much easier when they do it that way round. Yeah, so it's a great workshop and play, and it gets them thinking completely differently to the way, and not logically. It's not logic.
It's not logic. You need to
No.
tap into that other part of the
Yeah.
brain where
Yeah.
actually a lot of the magic really comes from.
It does. And you're right, in schools where that's kind of taught out of us. I've got three kids. Each of them have said, please daydream. If you're daydreaming, you're doing it right.
Yes, I love that. Love that. And what a great message.
Yeah.
Because it's the opposite of what they're taught.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
Yeah. Do a bit of staring out at the window and you'll be fine. All right. So where are you taking your coaching business, Tracy? What's coming next? Apart from the book, that's very exciting. Will that be out this year, do you think?
Let's see.
All right. Okay.
Let's give it 18 months.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
So really it's just sort of continuing growing. So I work a lot with founders and then business owners, and then I work a lot with our senior leadership teams. So it's scaling.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And
So
will
really,
you take anybody else on? Do you think? Will you have associates?
so maybe I've got a team
Mm,
around me of sort of like I've got virtual
yeah.
assistants, I've got finance people, I've got sort of marketing people. I'm not sure if I found the right fit.
Mm,
Yes.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's actually another thing, Rebecca, that I've done, which I really want to roll out more is, have you heard of the scorecard?
Yes.
Yes. So I've just produced my own called the
Oh, amazing.
Success Scorecard. And there I introduce my model of the tree with these 6 indicators of success that I have, and I'm overlapping them. And funnily enough, one of those indicators of success is play.
Oh,
So I overlap those, and when people do it, they then get a tailor. I've put a lot of work into it. They get a
good.
tailored report into how of what their result is in each of what their score is in each of the 6 levels, and then they get tips and insights of how to increase it.
Oh,
So
I love
that's
that.
something I genuinely want to put out there more because I
Yeah.
see the impact it has on my clients. And I jump for joy when I see them go, oh, I love this model,
Yeah.
to benefit from it.
Listen, if you ever commercialize it, come back to me. I've got 92 coaches out there who would probably love to use that tool.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we
I'll have a think. Yeah.
we don't use I don't recommend any particular psychometric tests or behavioral profiles or anything like that. We include one in our training platform that
Yeah.
again I describe as very playful, and I introduce it as as about as scientific as a cosmopolitan questionnaire, and I do that on purpose
Yes.
because people get too het up about these assessments and profiling tools. But something that was about leadership and play would fit beautifully with our ethos of our coaching model, definitely. So if you ever commercialize it, let me know.
Well, Rebecca, I can send you the link, and if you'd
Okay,
like, you can share it with your listeners. Take it
okay.
and see, and then I'd be delighted to have a conversation.
Oh, all right, jolly good. Who knew that was going to happen? Right, okay, good. So, I like to ask a question about the personality of your business. If your business had a personality, how would you describe it, or who would it be, Tracy?
I think it would be the personality is playful and loving,
Oh, like your dogs.
like my dogs. Exactly. That would be who they are. Yes,
Oh,
hold the space of loving and caring, but also playful and I stretch people, but I do it with a bucket load of love.
yeah. And what do you think your purpose or your dharma, I think the Hindus call it dharma, your kind of reason for being is? Why were you put on this earth, Tracy? It's a huge question, but what do you think that might be?
Well, do you know, just looking at looking at the business that we had and the route that I've taken, to me, it's around helping people unlock latent potential.
Yeah, great.
We all have more than, we all know we've got more,
Yeah,
but the $1 million question is, how do we unlock it?
yeah,
And
absolutely.
I get up every day with a smile on my face, and a bounce in my stride, and I just love what I do. So
Yeah.
that feels very much like it's my purpose.
And I promise this is my last question. Piece of advice for budding business coaches. What's a great piece of advice for either people who've just starting out being a business coach or thinking about being a business coach?
I suppose it's the advice I would give to the business owners,
Okay.
which is very much, you can get caught out up in all of the external. Bring the mirror to yourself, and put the mirror inside and work on leveling yourself up. So I always talk to my clients about, what's the next level of you? What's the you 2.0 or 3.0? Because you're never going to outperform that. So the more you can upgrade yourself, the more your business is going to grow.
Brilliant advice. Absolutely superb. Thank you so much, Tracy. I really enjoyed that. And best of luck with the book.
Thank you. Rebecca, it's been just the most absolute pleasure. I've loved every moment of it. Your questions have been wonderful, and I look forward to staying in touch.
Lovely. Thank you for joining me in the Business Coach's Chair. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. If you want to join TriCrest as a business coach, we're looking for brilliant people because we train brilliant people to be brilliant business coaches. Go to our website, tricrest.com, tricres.com, to learn more. Or if you want to join me in the Business Coach's Chair, contact me at hello@tricrest.com. Either way, I'll see you soon.